You call yourself shy, so you stay quiet. You avoid attention. You rehearse conversations in your head before speaking. But deep down, it doesn't feel like simple shyness. Because it's not that you have nothing to say. It's that something inside you keeps asking, what if being fully seen is dangerous? And that question changes your entire personality without you noticing. Most people think shyness is just lack of confidence. But your experience feels more complicated than that. You can be talkative with the right person, funny in private, comfortable when you feel emotionally safe. Then suddenly, around certain people, your mind goes blank, your body tightens, your voice changes, you become hyper-aware of yourself. You start monitoring everything, how you sound, how you sit, whether your reaction was normal. And afterward, you replay tiny moments for hours. Why did I say that? Did I sound awkward? Did they notice I was nervous? Psychology calls this self-focused attention. Your brain shifts away from the outside world and starts observing you. The problem is, the more you monitor yourself, the less natural you become. And eventually, you stop trusting your spontaneous reactions altogether. So you speak less, hide more, shrink yourself before anyone else can reject you. Over time, this starts shaping your identity. You stop seeing yourself as cautious. You start seeing yourself as weak. But that interpretation misses something important. Your brain is not trying to embarrass you. It's trying to protect you from something it remembers. And that changes the entire meaning of shy. You are not broken. You are adapted. Somewhere in your life, your nervous system learned that visibility carried risk. Maybe you were judged too harshly. Maybe you were interrupted constantly. Maybe vulnerability was met with embarrassment instead of safety. So your brain built a defense system. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet self-protection. Behavioral psychology shows that the brain repeats behaviors that reduce discomfort. So, if staying quiet once protected you from rejection, your nervous system remembers that, and eventually, silence stops feeling like a choice. It starts feeling automatic. That's why forcing confidence rarely works. Because the issue isn't personality, it's perceived safety. And once you understand that, your behavior starts making more sense. But there's another layer most people never notice. Your brain may now be protecting you from dangers that no longer exist. Imagine your nervous system like a smoke alarm. Its job is not to ask, is there definitely danger? Its job is to ask, could there be danger? That's why socially anxious or highly self-protective people often react intensely to small situations. A simple conversation can trigger the same survival systems designed for real threats. The amygdala, the brain's threat detector, becomes highly alert to social evaluation. A facial expression, a pause in conversation, someone looking away for 2 seconds. Your brain scans these moments for possible rejection. Then the prefrontal cortex steps in and tries to prevent embarrassment by controlling behavior. Speak carefully. Don't interrupt. Don't say too much. The result? You become mentally trapped between fear and control. And ironically, the more you try to avoid judgment, the more unnatural and tense you feel socially. This creates a feedback loop. Fear leads to self-monitoring. Self-monitoring creates awkwardness. Awkwardness increases fear. And eventually, your brain concludes, see? It's safer to stay hidden. But hidden people slowly lose connection to themselves. Because personality needs expression to stay alive. And that leads to an important question. How do you teach your nervous system that being seen is no longer dangerous? Not through forcing extroversion, not through pretending to be confident, but by slowly retraining the brain's prediction system. What to do? Focus on the conversation itself, not how you appear inside it. Why it works in the brain. This shifts attention away from self-monitoring and reduces threat activity in the nervous system. Real-life example. Instead of thinking, do I sound awkward? Focus on one detail the other person is saying. Attention changes emotional intensity. What to do? Allow minor awkward moments without immediately correcting them. Why it works in the brain. Your brain learns safety through exposure, not avoidance. Surviving small imperfections weakens fear associations. Real-life example. Mispronouncing a word and continuing anyway. Not apologizing repeatedly. Not mentally punishing yourself afterward. What to do? Say small, honest thoughts before overthinking edits them away. Why it works in the brain. Overthinking strengthens avoidance pathways. Action interrupts the fear loop before it grows. Real-life example: sharing your opinion in class or conversation, before rehearsing it 10 times internally. At first, this feels uncomfortable, because your brain interprets visibility as risk, but repetition slowly changes prediction. What to do? Practice being seen in environments that feel emotionally manageable. Why it works in the brain. Gradual exposure teaches the nervous system that attention does not automatically equal danger. Real-life example: making brief eye contact, posting a genuine thought online, asking one question in a group setting. Small visibility creates emotional tolerance over time. Maybe you were never too shy. Maybe your nervous system simply became overprotective, like a guard dog that kept barking long after the danger passed. And now, your task is not becoming fearless. It's teaching your brain that you no longer need to disappear to stay safe. Because confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the gradual reduction of unnecessary protection. And every small moment of honest expression sends your brain a new message. I survived being seen. You don't need to become louder to heal. You don't need to transform your personality overnight. You just need to stop treating your existence like something that must constantly be approved first. Because maybe the quietest tragedy was never your shyness. It was how often you abandoned your natural self before anyone else even had the chance to know it. And maybe healing begins the moment you realize you were never hiding because you were weak. You were hiding because your brain was trying to keep you safe.